I was in the UK 2 months ago, and at that time, the UK was looking for its next leader. Would it be Truss or would it be Sunak? I talked to quite a few people. Some said Truss, some said Sunak, but no one predicted Truss, then Sunak. And I bet no one predicted that the pound would go from being worth over $1.40 US to under $1.10 US in less than a year and a half, from June 2021 to September 2022. But it's come back a bit in October. So how will all of this impact private equity? Will global private equity firms come to the UK to take public companies private? Well, that's what happened last year. Do you remember our video titled Why Private Equity Investors Need to Keep an Eye on the Public Markets, where we talked about how private equity firms were taking UK listed companies private due to the undervaluation of the UK markets? In that video, we mentioned the Signature Aviation deal, the G4S deal, and the Morrisons deal. Well, in this video, we will share our November 2021 video newsletter, which you should subscribe to in the link in the description below if you don't already receive it, where we dive deep into the Morrisons deal. Here it is. In this edition of Mink Sights, we will walk you through the Morrisons deal, a recent deal where CD&R is buying Morrisons and taking the firm private. We'll go through the history of Morrisons, followed by the details of the deal, and then we will analyze the deal. So let's get started with the history of Morrisons. Back in 1899, what is now called Morrisons, or W.M. Morrison Supermarkets, was founded in the UK by William Morrison. Years later, in 1952, Ken Morrison took over from his father. In 1967, Morrisons became a public company. And in 1999, 100 years after William Morrison founded the company, Morrisons opened its 100th store. In 2004, Morrisons acquired Safeway, and as of 2021, Morrisons has approximately 500 supermarkets across the UK. So let's look at the details of the deal we're talking about in this video. Now, this deal to bring Morrisons private got a lot of media attention since it went to an auction with the two main bidders being Fortress Investment Group and Clayton, Dubilier & Rice, CD&R. At the end, CD&R won the auction for Morrisons with a bid that was about £7 billion, which converts to about $10 billion. So let's analyze the deal. Morrisons is the second UK supermarket chain to be recently acquired by private equity, after the buyout of Asda by the Issa Brothers and TDR Capital last year. The buyer for Morrisons is CD&R, which is a US private equity firm that is known for its operational expertise and its ability to attract top operators to work for the private equity firm to help with portfolio company operations and proprietary deal flow. The firm is famous for attracting Jack Welch. He worked for CD&R for nearly 20 years after his illustrious career at GE. Well, the person at CD&R that led this deal was none other than Sir Terry Leahy, the former chief executive officer of Tesco. In this deal with Morrisons, Terry not only added industry expertise, but also had deep relationships with multiple members of the Morrisons management team that used to work at Tesco, including David Potts, the current CEO of Morrisons, who previously worked at Tesco for 39 years. Now, when looking at value creation, there are multiple factors on why CD&R bought Morrisons. One main factor is Morrisons real estate. Morrison owns many of their properties, and one could argue that a plan after the acquisition could be to conduct a sale and leaseback of its properties. A sale and leaseback is when you sell the underlying properties to generate cash and set up leases, usually long-term leases, with the new owners of the properties. Now, the idea of a sale and leaseback is not new, even in the grocery industry. For those of you in my home country of Canada, you'll remember when Loblaw, public company, spun out Choice REIT, a newly created REIT that owned the Loblaw's real estate to unlock the value of real estate from the business by basically selling the real estate to the REIT and leasing it back. Now, investors, there are a few lessons we can take away from this deal. First, if you're going to buy a business in a specific industry, it can't hurt to find top operational executives with connections in the industry to bring on your team before an acquisition, just like CD&R has done with people like Sir Terry Leahy. And second, when you are looking to buy a business, whether it's a grocery store or any other business that owns real estate, please don't forget to see if there's an opportunity to unlock value through a sale and leaseback. When doing due diligence, sometimes we get caught up looking at the operations of the business, which is a good thing. But don't forget to look at the real estate to check if there's an additional value creation opportunity.